What is up, guys? Private Eye Russ here. Welcome to another episode of the Private Eye Russ podcast. I am, the titular character, Private Eye Russ, owner, operator of a full-service private investigation and security consulting company. So we offer a wide range of services, everything from corporate theft investigations, whether you're talking about material, embezzlement, or the dreaded intellectual property theft. We've got a dedicated team of experienced individuals that will set you straight. Criminal defense investigations, litigation support investigations, of course, infidelity support investigations, as well as pre-long-term relationship, premarital investigations, so you get a good picture of what your future spouse has been up to in the past, so that way you don't have any surprises in the future and you have the ability to make an informed decision. That way you know what the skeletons are before they surprise you. And in making an informed decision is the only thing any of us should ever ask for when it comes to that sort of thing. So information is what we do. We'll take care of you. On another topic, personal coaching. So I offer personal coaching, personal development. If you are tired, all right, men especially, if you're tired of being a passenger in your life, if you're tired of being an NPC, wind-up toy, automaton that just goes to and fro with the flow and have others dictate your future and your life, reach out to me. I will set you on the path to discovering what you should be as a man and how your life should go going forward. That way you can seize control and take the wheel and take control of your life and be in control of your successes and your failures, but mostly your successes. So, and as well as you need strategic planning. So what do I mean by strategic planning? Okay, on many occasions, I have helped people solve ongoing problems that they had. Sometimes they're very simple. Something as simple as, okay, you need to protect yourself from this individual because they're trying to set you up to get in trouble. Maybe it's a baby mother or something of that nature, to something very complicated like corporate theft, corporate espionage. These are things we specialize in. So if you need a plan and you need to implement that plan and adjust that plan as you go, because everything is an adjustment, reach out to me at privateiruss.com. That's RUSS at privateiruss.com. Or you can reach out to me alternatively at privateinvestigatorruss at gmail.com. That's privateinvestigatorruss at gmail.com. Alternatively, you can also send me a direct message on X. I'm on X every single day, and I check those messages frequently. So what are we going to get into there? We're going to talk about Bluetooth low energy stalking and some of the hidden dangers and things you can do to protect yourself from this stalking. All right, this is going to be a short video, but there's a lot of good information here. Please, while you're here, hit like, subscribe, share this video, because this affects more people than ever realize it. Some of you are driving around right now with Bluetooth trackers on your car and you have no idea. And don't count on the police, because typically, unless you're a celebrity, unless you are some high profile person or case, they're not really going to take much interest. All right, so anyway, fair use.
Apple and Google have announced that they are working on a new industry specification to help prevent Bluetooth location tracking devices from being used to track people without permission. This draft specification has been filed with the Internet Engineering Task Force, IETF, and has received support from device manufacturers such as Samsung, Tile, Chipolo, Eufy Security, and Pebblebee. The idea is for iOS and Android smartphones to be able to detect unauthorized Bluetooth.
Okay, so one of the most ubiquitous items of those items is this, just an Airtag, a simple Airtag. And so people are using these in lieu of the dedicated GPS tracking devices. And why is that happening? Okay, the GPS tracking devices, unless they're hardwired, they have a limited battery life. Now, they can last a couple of months depending on how much the person is driving and how frequently the device is pinging and sending a signal for that location. But they have to keep reattaching or reapplying or changing out the devices to keep those batteries fresh, all right? So that leaves them open to exposure. So the advantage with the Bluetooth tracking devices, or Bluetooth low energy, BLE, Bluetooth low energy devices, is this: they work on an extremely small bandwidth, a very narrow signal, but they work in concert with other connected devices or devices on the same network. So the most effective not surprisingly, the most effective and the most accurate as far as tracking goes are the Apple Airtags or even a pair of AirPods. So why is that? So the Airtags, AirPods, iPhones, Mac, everything with iOS recognizes everything else with that uses iOS in the vicinity. And so what it does is it helps triangulate your position that much more accurately. So if there's one device saying where I am, well, that's not going to be a very good fix. But if there are 100 devices or 20 or 30 devices pointing to my location, say, hey, this one's here. And so they all talk to each other. They don't necessarily report to you, but they all talk to each other. And so that makes them incredibly accurate. Not only that, I've been running an experiment with another Bluetooth low energy tracking device. And so far, it's been running a little bit over 2 years. And I have not changed the battery. It's the original battery it came with, and it's been running for 2 years. So think about it. For 2 years, I've been able to track a specific device for 2 straight years without changing the device. Okay, so the endurance these devices have is unbelievable. Now, here's where the hidden dangers come in. So because these things are so tiny, like this is the size of a quarter, like maybe 2 or 3 times the width, but these things are tiny. This is an AirTag. AirPods and things of that nature, even smaller. And so imagine if I can just attach one of these to your car, toss it in a window, stick it under your wheel well, stick it under your bumper, and you drive off. Okay, if I'm a stalking dude trying to stalk a young lady or a woman trying to stalk a guy, that happens. That does happen. Doesn't happen as frequently, but it does happen. Being stalked is never a good thing. Someone tracking your location is never a good thing, because who knows what nefarious intentions they may have. They may just be some dude who saw a woman who's good looking and decided he's going to take some sort of felonious action. I won't go into details about that, but you guys can put together the picture. Or say, for instance, someone sees you have a nice luxury car, you park your Bentley somewhere, whether you use valet parking or not, those things are still stopped put in the parking lot. So if I'm a car thief or if I'm a carjacker or a home invasion individual, burglar, or whatever it might be, and I see your nice car, I know odds are, unless it's a rental, odds are you are going to have a nice house with a bunch of nice stuff in it, maybe even cash. And so I stick one of these things on your car. I don't have to leave it on there forever. I just have to see where your house is and see whether you're home or not. And so I stick this on your car. You go home. I don't rob you then and there unless I really just want to break into your home. I wait until you leave. Wait until nobody's home. Then I break in and steal your gear and I leave. So, and there's so many permutations of something bad that can happen just based on just based on thinking that. So how do we protect ourselves? Okay, here's how we protect ourselves. We have to be able to detect these devices. Okay, so there's a multitude of ways. There are very expensive ways. There are moderately priced ways. I have access to a team of technicians. These are people that have gone to a very specialized school, and when they go sweeping for bugs, tracking devices, intrusions in your network, they will show up with $100,000 or more worth of equipment, and they're very specially trained. Everything from non-linear junction detectors to wireless signal detectors. And so there's a bunch of things they show up with. And I will say this really quickly as a side note. Some of the things you see, not everything, but some of the things you see on Amazon, say $20 signal detector, EM, electronic signal or electronic frequency detector, those will pick up the signal, but the problem is they can't identify and isolate the signal. So you'll get signals from everywhere. What types of signals? We are bombarded with Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, all types of radio waves everywhere we go, all day, every day. Especially if you live in a major metropolitan area, those things will get signals, but you won't be able to identify it, which will only serve to frustrate you. So there are specialized devices. Like I'll give you an example. This one is a Blue Sleuth tag, BLE, Bluetooth low energy tag tracker. And so I bought this one. This one was about $600. Does it work? Yes, it does. But is that for everyone? No. I do have more expensive equipment, but this is something that I can put in my pocket, and it has helped me. However, I've done some experimentation with a bunch of different apps. And so some of them are free, some of them are paid, some work better than others. The one I have used with a great deal of efficacy is it's just called Airtag Scan Detect Tracker. Literally, that's it. And so the icon looks like this. And so what I find is that this one, it helps identify the signals. It helps hone in on the signals incredibly effectively. So if you have a tracking device on your car, or if someone puts them on your bag or your luggage or whatever it is, you simply hit start scan. Well, hold on, all right, start scan, there we go. All right, so it starts, okay, already picked up an AirTag, and that's the AirTag that's sitting right on the desk. So what do? I go right here, right there. I know, it's all right. And so it'll start giving me, let's see what it does. It gives me an approximate, the approximate. So see, as I get closer, the number drops. As I put it further and further away, it increases. This is the best I've found. I've been using the paid version. The free version works pretty well also too. So, I mean, there's really not a whole bunch of difference. So what makes these things so dangerous, or potentially dangerous as well too, and that's why they're used so much by bad actors. This is an AirTag. This cost me what, $20-something maybe on Amazon. So the way they're designed is so that if you lose something, it's so to track your own stuff. So you lose something, you lose your purse, you lose your wallet, you lose your backpack or whatever. You go on your phone and you say, okay, and it has a chirp. It has an alarm that will go off. But, well, there are tutorials on YouTube about how to disable the speaker on these. And, again, not necessarily through any malfeasance, but people don't look forward and think about the potential bad uses of some of this information can be. And so whoever put that out there, there's a bunch of videos. I don't think they did this through any malfeasance. However, bad guys watch YouTube as well. So when I have people ask me things like, hey, can you give us tips and tricks? Well, these are decent right now. I won't go too far into those things just because, there's so much potential. If bad guys know, or bad actors know everything, every tool I can use and other professionals can use to help safeguard you, then they can find ways to counteract those methods, and that's okay. Everything's like an arms race. They get better, we get better, they get better, we get better, but they disable these things. And so if you have an AirTag stuck on your car and you have an iPhone, your iPhone will alert you that an unregistered device, an unregistered iOS device is traveling with you. That's a good thing about Apple and the way they set these things up. Android has no such, they have a couple of phones that have that capability, but they do not work worth a darn. And I've worked on these and experimented a lot with these things. I have a lot of experience finding these things on clients' cars. I've had a lot of female clients that have been tracked. One woman was tracked from Colorado. Yes, Colorado. She was tracked all the way from Colorado to, sunny Florida. And, she was being stalked by an individual who perpetrated acts of violence against her. Won't go into details, but, so we were tasked with, helping her by one of her parents. And so one of the first things I did was I checked her vehicle. I said, okay, I'll ask a series of questions. Sometimes people think these questions are pointless, but there's a reason for the questions. I don't always want to explain every single thing, every single bit of information and why I'm going to use it. But one of the things I found, okay, you drove this car all the way from here. This guy knows where you are. Let's check her vehicle. And we actually found 2 AirTags on her car. Now, she didn't have an iPhone. She was using an Android, and I'm not endorsing one or the other, just presenting information. So we went forward, took those off, and here's where you have to learn how to protect yourself and take some of these actions yourself. So we had her, and we actually gave a statement to the police about what happened, what we found, and why we were there investigating. It was, pursuant to trying to safeguard this woman. And so she did actually ultimately move again. Obviously I'm not going to say where, but And so the interesting thing is when we've presented these, when I've personally given things like these with a report, with video and photographic evidence of what happened, I've even gotten captured video of people placing these devices on people's vehicles, with hidden cameras and creepy, crawly, private eye stuff I won't go into. But the detectives that I communicated this to and gave this information to, can you guys guess what action they took? Because it is a crime to do this. This is stalking. And depending on what they do is aggravated stalking. But guess what they did? Absolutely nothing. So you have to protect yourself, and that's on every single one of these. Now, I bet you if it was some celebrity or someone who's really connected politically, they would have taken action. But for the most part, this is not a sexy case for them, and they are not going to bother. They'll take the report, they'll take the devices, they get put in an envelope, they'll put them in a drawer, and that is the end of that. So again, this is just one way to protect yourself. There's a lot of apps out there. That's the one I've found that works best. Matter of fact, let me make sure I get the name of it properly. Let me go to the Play Store here. But there's so many. There's so many different things that can make your life more difficult. Okay, Airtag. Detector, there we go. All right, where is mine? All right, yeah, here it is. Airtag, scan, detect, and track. So it's the very first one. The very top one. Look for that icon, and that's the one you need to. That's the one you need to grab. That's the one I use. I've tried a bunch of different ones. They all work to varying degrees. This one just works, in my opinion, the quickest, and the graph to use it is incredibly easy. Things like this, even though they're made to be simple, they're not. There's actually a lot. There's a big learning curve you have to go through just to learn how to use this one. This is actually a simplified version. This is a Blue Sleuth Lite. They have a Blue Sleuth. And this one was $600. The Blue Sleuth Lite is like $2,500. I don't have that. I have other equipment, but that's not for everybody. It was made for more people. It can be used by more people, but if you can master that app, which you saw the utilization of it, you saw I use it. It was incredibly easy. So anyway, this is Private Eye Russ, and again, let me quick side note. They remove the ability to hear this just because they understand people can pick them up, and it prevents you from being able to find it and gives them more time to track down your location. So be very careful. And again, it takes 5 seconds for somebody to put something like this on your car, literally. I know guys that do that for a living. That's what they do. They only do surveillance, and they're specialists. And so I've gotten a lot of instruction from those guys about the things that they do. And some of these guys are really bold. They'll put a tracking device on someone's car while the person's still in their car. He said, most people are in condition white. We got 3 conditions: condition white, where you're completely oblivious to what's going on around you; condition yellow, where you're plugged in and you understand what's going on around you, not necessarily in a state of paranoia, but you're watchful; and condition red, you've identified a threat and you are taking action, whether it's fight or flight. All right, so most people walk around on a daily basis in condition white. Most people are walking around obsessed with these things and have their faces just firmly planted in their phones all the time. Stop doing that. Not good for you. Anyway, this has been an episode of the Private Eye Russ podcast. If you need any of those investigative services, or if you need personal coaching, personal development coaching, or strategic planning and threat mitigation, these are some of my specialties, but especially when it comes to solving problems over the long term, not just get you out of trouble right now, but make sure it doesn't happen again. All right. Anyways, your boy Private Eye Russ. Oh, do me a favor before I go. Please hit like, subscribe, share these videos, comment below. If you have requests on different subjects that I can expand on, again, I'm kind of a nerd when it comes to some of this stuff, especially with the electronics and the tracking and signals and signal interruptions, signal, projection, signal theft. These are some of the things that really, they actually get me excited. Anyway, so it's been an episode of the Private Eye Russ podcast. Thank you again for tuning in. Tune in for more. Stay plugged in. Much more to come, guys. Peace.